Midpoint. Hi, I'm Brenda. You're stuck with me this week. I do the editing of these videos and various tasks around the church. And that means if I do anything cringe on this video, I have to watch myself 1,000 times, so I'm suffering with you. Today we're going to talk about great leaders choose integrity. Integrity! I love that word. I love that concept, so I'm super excited today. But as we have to talk about integrity, I'm going to share a time where I struggled to exhibit integrity. It was a few years ago. I was at work, and work sometimes feels like school when it comes to drama and people getting annoyed with each other because you spend so much time around each other and each other's personalities. And one day, someone who had a higher position than me did something, and I just got really annoyed. It really hurt my friend, and I was talking to someone about it, and I said something that wasn't kind about this person. And not only was it not kind about this person, but this person had some leadership role. And so I felt awful afterwards. And I knew I had not lived up to the standard I hold myself to and other people to, not gossiping about other people and not saying unkind things about other people. And what's funny is, so I had to walk around the halls and see her face and sometimes interact with her in emails, and I had this guilt in my heart knowing that I hadn't been a person of integrity. I hadn't been the kind of person who lives to the same standard that she holds other people. I really struggled with that for a little while. Today we're going to talk about Paul. Paul is a great leader in the Bible, but he didn't start that way. Paul was actually known as Saul, and Saul was known for helping Christians be put to death for following Jesus. And so when Saul, who was renamed Paul, became a Christian, you can understand that some of the Christians were like, I don't want to go near you. You're just tricking us. You're just trying to get us close so that you can put us to death. We don't trust you. But a few years later, you'll see other people will listen to him because of how he lived his life after he came to know Jesus. Philippians 4:8-9 says this: "Finally, brothers and sisters, always think about what is true. Think about what is noble, right, and pure. Think about what is lovely and worthy of respect. If anything is excellent or worthy of praise, think about these kinds of things. Do what you have learned or received or heard from me. Follow my example. The God who gives peace will be with you." So Paul is telling them to focus on the things that are pure and noble and right and true, and to follow his example and conduct. How can he say this after he was the person who tried to put Christians to death? Because they saw immediately after Jesus' interaction with Paul and his change of heart and his change of life, that Paul was a person who did what he said he was going to do. Paul was a person who practiced what he preached. Paul was a person that was true to his word. They could trust Paul because Paul's actions matched his words. Paul was a man of integrity. Even though he had a past, even though he had made mistakes, what was important to them was how he lived his life now. And how he lived his life now was a life of integrity, of practicing what he preached, of doing what he said he was going to do, his words and his actions matching, and having the heart behind that. The scripture encourages us to live out what is good, what is true, what is noble, what is just. And when we live in a just, noble, good, and true way, we're living a life of integrity. People can trust us to have the words and the actions that match. Paul invited us to live the same kind of life he lived, to not let our past actions dictate how we live now. Not to say, oh, well, I already made a mistake, I can just keep on making mistakes. No, okay, I made a mistake, and now I'm going to live up to the standard that God has set for me, that I have set for myself. I'm going to let my actions and my words match. You can do that too. You're not who you were in the past. You are who you are today, and who you are today will shape who you are tomorrow. Okay, so back to the story of me and my coworker. So the next day I really felt God wanted me to set things right. I knew that if she found out that I had said something mean about her, it would hurt, but also that would really hurt my reputation with her. And I didn't want that to be the case. And so I found her one day when she was in a good position to talk, and I told her the truth. I said, hey, look, I was really mad the other day, and I said some things, and I told her what I said, and I wanted you to know that I said that out of anger. I didn't mean it. Yes, I was angry, and there are reasons why I was angry, but what I said was not right, and what I said was not fair. And I wanted you to know that, because if you hear people say that I said that, I want you to know I did, and I shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. I should have shown you more respect. I'll do better next time. And we were able to have a really good conversation and make peace and have a very good understanding of each other. And so much so to in the future, when someone said something or when someone got annoyed with that person, I could say, hey, look, like, she's dealing with a lot. She has a lot on her plate. Like, we don't know the full story, so we probably shouldn't like try to create a story around how we're feeling right now without all the details. And so that really helped, and it really helped a situation where our relationship could have been damaged and we could have just been those hostile people that work together. We actually were able to be allies together at work. Proverbs 11:3 says this: those who do what is right are guided by their honest lives. Those who aren't faithful are destroyed by their lies. Proverbs 11 contrasts these two ideas: a life of integrity where you are guided by the light, a dishonest life where you're destroyed by your lies. Will you be physically destroyed by your lies? Sometimes. I mean, it depends on your lies, it depends on the situation, it depends on the consequences that are connected to your actions. But a lot of times, your reputation will be destroyed, your relationships will be destroyed, even your self-worth will be destroyed. I'm sure you've been in this situation before. You're in a room with people, someone is being so kind to someone else, you're watching it, you're like, oh, that person must really like that person. And then the person leaves and that person starts talking terrible things, like just saying awful things about that person. And they were two-faced. And you realize that they were not being honest with that person about how kind they were. They were just being rotten. And how about this, like you're in a room and someone says something kind to you and they mean it. And when you walk out the room, you know that that person's not going to talk bad about them because you know they have a true character and that they are honest when no one is looking. Being praised by someone who is true to their word is the most beautiful thing. You know they mean it. You know that when they compliment you, that it's their truth and that it's not something they're going to take back as soon as you leave the room. And God has called us to be committed, to be that person, to be the person who we are the same, whether or not there are people in the room with us, whether or not it's just our siblings or our parents, whether it's our teachers or our fellow students. God has called us to be the same person no matter what, no matter who's watching, no matter if no one's watching. Being committed to do that, being committed to have integrity is what we are called to do as Christians. It's what Jesus did. Jesus was the same in the wilderness as he was in the middle of the temple. Jesus was the same on the cross as he was on the boat with his disciples. Whether we're by ourselves, whether we're with close friends, whether we're with families or teachers or pastors, we are called to have the same value and to live out our life the same, no matter who's watching. When we do that, we're not just going to fill the lives of the people around us with joy, knowing that they can trust us, but we will become a great leader because great leaders choose integrity. Do that again.